Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about benefits of participating in a co-author project. So I'm going to give you 3 reasons why participating as a co-author is really beneficial for you as the author, and in comparison to self-publishing your own book, doing your own project all by yourself. So there's 3 things that really make a big difference when it comes to the co-authoring project. First and foremost is your time and your energy. So especially if you are a mom and you have a goal of becoming an author, or maybe you've never thought about really becoming an author, but you've always had a goal to write and you enjoy writing. Maybe you've always wanted to start a blog, or you've had that interest, but you just never really pursued it. It takes a lot of time to write a book. There's a lot of energy and time commitment required in order to write the amount necessary to self-publish your entire book. Now, you don't have to write a certain number of words in order to self-publish your book. However, in a co-author project, you would be writing just 1 chapter versus a full book that you write yourself, where you not only have to come up with all of the content for multiple chapters, but it could be 10 chapters, 15 chapters, 20 chapters. It's a lot of content to come up with. And if you're a busy mom, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a working mom, you have your own business, maybe you just don't have the time required, or you don't want to wait for years to pass where you're silently working away on this goal. When you do a co-author project, you only have to write between 3,000 and 4,000 words, enough content for 1 chapter. So it takes out the extra time that's required if you want to write a full book. Now, don't get me wrong, writing a full book is incredible. And if you are interested in a co-author project and you have interest in writing your own book, I would highly recommend that you continue to pursue that. In fact, I have a planner if you're hoping to write an entire book. I have a self-published planner, so you can get that at momfidentfreebies.com. If that's something you want to do, I would highly recommend it. I've done it. I know many people who have done it, and it is a great thing to add to your repertoire, to your product base. It's a great way to serve your audience, and do it in a really large chunk of content and something that lives on an international platform. Like, there's lots of benefits to writing your own book. However, one of the biggest roadblocks to people completing their own book is, of course, finding the time to actually write an entire manuscript. So number 1 would be time and energy commitment. With a co-author project, you are severely decreasing the amount of time and energy required because you only have to write 1 chapter, and you're getting to write about 1 specific topic. So you don't have to try to come up with the content for the entire book. Obviously, number 2 is coming up with the content. So I sort of just alluded to it. Not only does it take you a lot of time to write all of that content, but you have to come up with it. So let's say you want to write a book on health and fitness. You need to come up with all of your chapters, of your subtopics, of your different sections. Again, something that can be planned out with the self-published planner, but it takes a lot more energy and creative flow in order to write that amount to compile an entire book. So content. Number 3 would be financial investment. Because if you're going to self-publish a book, there are a lot of costs that come up. You have to pay for everything on your own, and you also have to source those contractors that you work with on your own. So you would have to pay a freelance editor or an editing company to do all of the copy editing and even developmental editing for your full book. You'd obviously then need to find a cover designer. You need to find an interior designer and a typeset person. There's a lot of moving parts and it's doable. Trust me, it's doable. But there's a lot of moving parts, and if that's not something that you want to figure out, then with a co-author project, it's hands-free. You hit submit on your chapter, you submit a photo to go along with your chapter so that I can credit you for writing your chapter and put your photo inside the book and on the back cover, and that's all you have to do. There's no sourcing of contractors or freelancers. There's no handling, the back and forth between all of the editing and trying to come up with a cover design and knowing what kind of cover design is going to work well. You don't have to do any of that. You just submit your chapter, dust your hands off, have a glass of wine, and I take care of the rest. So that's kind of a bonus. Number 4 is that you don't have to worry about any of the shit that's required in order to get a book published. So Momfident Boss Publishing is a boutique publishing house. sort of a blended between self-publishing and a full-on, publishing house. We're not a traditional publishing house, but you don't have to learn how to do any of that stuff. You just pass it off, hand it in, and I take care of doing the rest of it. So there's lots of benefits, but just to summarize, the time and energy required to write a full book, you don't have to do that with a co-author project because it's just one chapter. The content, so coming up with what you're actually going to write if you were to write a full book, you don't have to do that either because I'm telling you what topic we're writing on in a co-author project, and you just share your story from your perspective based on that one topic. Financial commitment, it's way less expensive, less of a financial investment. Also, it's a fixed cost, so it's not like when you self-publish your own book, you don't know what the costs are going to be. The costs are variable. You might budget for an editor to be $1,500 and it might be more than that. It might be less than that. You don't know because you're not going to know until you go about doing it. With a co-author project, the investment is fixed. There's not any different costs. It's just the one cost, and it's far less than you'd have to invest for writing a full book. And then the last bonus tip or bonus benefit is that you don't have to learn how to do any of it. You don't have to source the contractors, you don't have to source the freelancers, you don't have to source anybody. It's all done for you. And so that's a benefit, obviously, of being inside a project like this. And then, of course, you get the time and energy of me pouring into your co-author project, doing monthly coaching calls, educating you on different content, supporting you, guiding you, and then my time and experience in doing this. This is the 5th co-author project I've done, and it will be the 10th project that I will be launching on Amazon. So you get all of that, experience of doing it several times before, in addition to being part of this amazing team environment. So those are 3.5 benefits to becoming a co-author versus writing your own full book.